Welcome again. My name is Phil Arnold. I teach in the religion department at Syracuse University, and this night has been a long time in planning, and it's great to see so many people here that have been really active in this series of events. I just want to do a short introduction to why why various groups at Syracuse, around Syracuse, wanted this series of events to happen. It's really to bring together the greater Syracuse community with the Onondaga Nation to foster some kind of intercultural learning and understanding in light of recent events. It's important also to mention that of the, 550 some native nations throughout North America, only 3 are still governed by their ancient ceremonial processes, and one of those is the Onondaga Nation. And it's not often that people get to acknowledge that. Certainly in my classes, it's not something that students readily know about. So we have here in Syracuse a real opportunity to connect with some ancient wisdom and to begin to appreciate what kind of possibilities that are maybe around the corner here in this area. Also, I'd like to mention that there's a lot of people all over the world that are interested in the Onondaga Nation and what's going to happen with this recent land rights action that was filed almost a year ago now. Me and my family we had the opportunity to accompany a delegation from the Onondaga Nation to Japan. And as many of you already know, they travel on their own passports, and that was a complicated process. But what was really remarkable was how much the Japanese already knew about the Haudenosaunee and about the Onondaga Nation, and how warmly the Japanese received the delegation, how they were really sort of up to speed on things like we'll be talking about, like the relationship between the Haudenosaunee and the women's rights movement, and the relationship between the Haudenosaunee and the development of democracy. So much so that this last August, a Japanese delegation came back here to Syracuse to meet with the Onondaga Nation to acknowledge what they saw as the indigenous root of their own democratic system. So those kinds of things are not, part of the workaday world, and I just wanted to mention them as a way of introducing the series. Something else, too, in general, this series, which will be occurring over the next year, is a recognition that the Onondagas have extended their hand in seeking a healing of relationships and the earth through their land rights action filed last March. Our belief as organizers of this series is that significant education is needed for us to truly understand the issues and respond thoughtfully to the Onondagas. I wanted to read to you just briefly the introduction of this land rights action, because it's quite unique in terms of a legal document. And it's beautifully written. I don't know who did it, but it's a wonderful example of what the possibilities of the land rights action might be. The Onondaga people wish to bring about a healing between themselves and all others who live in this region that has been the homeland of the Onondaga Nation since the dawn of time. The nation and its people have a unique spiritual, cultural, and historic relationship with the land, which is embodied in the Great Law of Peace. This relationship goes far beyond federal and state legal concepts of ownership, possession, or legal rights. The people are one with the land and consider themselves stewards of it. It is the duty of the nation's leaders to work for a healing of this land, to protect it, and to pass it on to future generations. The Onondaga Nation brings this action on behalf of its people in the hope that it may hasten the process of reconciliation and bring lasting justice, peace, and respect among all who inhabit the area. Now I'd like to welcome Andy Major, who will bring us into the thank yous.
Greetings. It's wonderful to see so many people here, both familiar faces and folks who I haven't had the opportunity to meet. As Phil said, this is really a historic collaboration that's happened here in our community. The initiation came from neighbors of the Onondaga Nation, the organization that I work with, and we approached folks at Syracuse University and SUNY ESF and were surprised very pleasantly about the tremendous positive response. So it grew from the idea of several months of a program to a full year, and we're really excited about that. All of the sponsors of this series are listed in your program, and there's too many for us to take the time to read them now, so I won't bother. But I do want to provide special thanks to the Student Environmental Action Coalition and Native American students at Syracuse who've played a particular role in organizing this first program. In addition, we thought it was important to acknowledge the other folks who were involved in the organizing committee along with Phil and I'd like those folks to stand when I read your names, please. Linda Alkoff from Women's Studies, Sandra Barrett, University College, Nick Kavanaugh, Student Environmental Action Coalition, Rachel Hall from the Department of Communications and Rhetorical Studies, Regina Jones from the Office of Multicultural Affairs, Richard Loader from Native American Studies, and Jack Mano from ESF. So thank you to all of them. We've been working together since the summer to pull this series together. Syracuse Stage, and in particular Brian Crotty, who's one of the managers here, have played a particular role in welcoming us to this beautiful space and really appreciate their efforts. In addition, if you look up at this beautiful banner up here, and hopefully you've seen it on the posters as well, we have this wonderful logo that was produced for us specifically for this series by Mohawk artist Tracy Thomas, who's also here with us. And we want to thank Tracy. And Sid and Audrey may talk more about some of these things, but the two-row wampum belt, which flows across the southern part of New York State, is really a critical part of understanding the kind of relationship that was originally established between the Haudenosaunee and Europeans who came to these shores. And we believe it's the kind of model that can help us move forward in a positive way with the land rights action that has been set before us. Also, Onondaga Lake, you can see, has been enlarged a little bit because it's a symbol which has great, deep historic significance for the Haudenosaunee and really can have, we hope, tremendous future significance for all of us in this community. And that coming together to restore Onondaga Lake can be part of the process of moving our region forward in a very important way. A couple of other thank yous to Francine Lyons and her family who have done the refreshments for us, and to Tori Mendoza, who's coordinating videotaping for the event. We haven't completely figured it out, but there will be DVDs and videos available at some point. So when you come back to the second, well, I don't know if we'll have, by the second series, program in the series, we'll be able to give you a little more specifics about that. So thank you all for coming. Phil is going to come on back up and introduce our speakers, and we'll get right to the program tonight. Phil? Sid's going to bring you up.
Okay, great. So we're through the introductions. Tonight's speakers, there's an introduction to them in your program. If you didn't get one, there's some more outside. Audrey Shenandoah is a clan mother in the Onondaga Nation, and yeah.
You're barely audible.
Sorry?
Look down, you're barely audible.
Oh, okay.
Look down there, just
Okay.
not gonna get blocked.
All right.
I don't know if you can move the mic up.
There's a guy back there who can fix it. I'll try to keep my head still. Audrey Shenandoah is a clan mother at the Onondaga Nation, and she's a world-renowned speaker. She's spoken at the UN. She's traveled with the Dalai Lama. She has a wonderful global perspective as well as a local commitment to the area. The Tadadao Sid Hill is also well known to many of you, and I'll just let them take it away.